There's a reason you keep responding the same way when things get intense, even though you've reflected on it, worked on it, journaled about it, and know better by now. And it's not because you're stuck, and it's not because you're unwilling to grow. It's because your body learned very early on how to stay intact in a world that didn't feel predictable, and it hasn't forgotten. All it takes is a little bit of volatility, a little bit of unpredictability or pressure, and the pattern returns. What you call your personality might actually be an old survival rhythm still running the show. Before we go any further, there's something important to name. Under pressure, the human nervous system tends to organize itself in one of four primary ways. Some yield and adapt, the shapeshifter. Some bodies resist pressure and push through it, the warrior. Some narrow attention and orient towards clarity, the sage. And some feel and sense their way through complexity, the asset. These aren't personalities. They're somatic response strategies, ways the body learned to survive. Knowing which one you are, your default, changes how everything else you're about to hear in this video actually lands. There's a Somatic Skins quiz you can take found in the description below that shows you which pattern your body runs when things get real. You can pause this video, take that first, and then come back. It'll make what we discuss in this video even more applicable. Against all the commonly touted advice, you might find that you burn out, plateau, or feel strangely constrained. Not because you lack insight or even character, but because you're training the wrong layer of yourself. You might apply advice meant for someone else's nervous system. You might then double down on strengths that have quietly turned into compulsions. And you might even confuse effort with progress and vigilance with purpose. Maybe even ease with wisdom. What you don't recognize is that your body's original survival strategy. When you don't recognize your body's original survival strategy, you keep asking it to solve today's problems with yesterday's equations. And eventually, your mind-body system pays the price. Long before you had language for who you are, your body was already making decisions. It noticed who stayed, who withdrew, what tone of voice meant danger or a withdrawal of love, what kind of movement or expression kept things calm. And somewhere in that early terrain, your nervous system discovered something crucial. This configuration works. For one body, holding firm created safety and control. For another, staying alert, having a ready answer and thinking fast did. For another, reading every subtle shift in the room. For another, adapting and improvising moment to moment. That first reliable solution became your native skin. Not a flaw, not a trauma, it was a success. And what's more interesting is that this native skin didn't remain in your mind. Your body organized and even developed muscle tone, breath cadence, attention and emotion mood patterns around what worked, and kept that pattern close because coherence wasn't always guaranteed. This is why your skin doesn't feel learned. It feels like you. But the nervous system doesn't upgrade automatically. So what works once gets repeated again and again until something interrupts the loop. So that early brilliance slowly became a reflex and then an identity. And the body stopped checking whether the threat was still present. So tension falls into predictable lines. Breath shortens or moves through the body differently. Attention would narrow or diffuse. And what you would find is that you're no longer choosing the pattern. The pattern is choosing you. And this is your conditioned skin. You can feel it when your strengths feel compulsory rather than alive. This might feel like when rest feels vaguely unsafe, or when relationships replay the same emotional choreography, or when progress stalls or stops, or effort never quite turns off. This isn't pathology, it's loyalty. Your body is still guarding what once mattered, even though the context has changed. And force won't undo it. Control or even trying to curate calmness won't either. Only contact does. Pause for a moment and notice your breath. You're not changing it, you're just sensing. Notice how your body is organizing its shape right now, whether you're leaning forward or back or finding center. Notice where your attention has been pulled during even this video. Your body is already participating, like a conversation with reality. But awareness is only the first step. Once you're aware, it's time to become evolved. An evolved skin isn't a new identity. It's not just slapping on another personality label. It is a cultivated way of being with your consciousness, with skill. It's the same intelligence, but without the armor. The warrior still has grit, but it no longer needs to push through. The sage still has clarity, but without withdrawing. The asset still feels deeply, without flooding. The shapeshifter still adapts, but without disappearing. Effort becomes efficient. Attention becomes flexible. Sensation returns as information, not alarm. And you can feel it when the body moves with less friction, as if gravity itself has changed allegiance. Now, this isn't permanent. You'll fall out of it, you'll come back. You'll fall out and come back. But over time, the route shortens. The nervous system starts defaulting to a coherent way of being instead of just contraction or control. Insight alone, just seeing it, doesn't retrain a nervous system. Intentional practice does, and depth exploration. The prestige was created as an applied somatic environment where these patterns are trained under real relational and creative pressure. We made it just for this. Not to fix the body, but to give it enough capacity and awareness that choice becomes possible again. It's for people who want mastery, not just extra motivation. If you work with people as a coach, a practitioner, a healer, and you notice where this pattern lives in you, you can then also spot it, train it, and shift it, not only for yourself, but for those that you serve. Just imagine. So, shameless invitation, if the native skins and this video intrigued you and you'd like a clean entry point into this deeper work, start with this as an orientation. If you haven't already, take the Somatic Skins quiz below in the description, which will show you your primary skin, the pattern your body defaulted to when pressure rises. Knowing it will change how you train, how you work, how you relate, and how you recover. It doesn't tell you who you have to become, it shows you what's already organizing you so that you can evolve with precision.